Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Yes, I go. Lip singer, and I go. Nairobi girl, come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day. Now I'm addicted now. Nairobi girl, come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day. Now I'm addicted now. I said that deep love, we are reaching from the top. You clean me soul, cheating spirit, me na process. Me baby na video it for you. Say, me African lady. What you me on a wengi. But when you play you run the game, you never fake it. Yeah. And I go. Them a say my hey. I'm a big man, I need a big girl. Kita na ni saraka say ya ni real ditima. Moto nipe habida holy pera sidika. Take it sote kwenye industry, singa na piga. Nairobi girl come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day. Now I'm addicted now. Nairobi girl, come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day. Now I'm addicted now. Girl, let me give you some natural love. You're not a bad girl, let me be your lover. You're very, very smooth, you're a criminal. Girl, you take my breath away. You are the only girl that I know. The only one I go carry us to mama. You're my African queen. You're the reason why I sing. I can't wait to give you my ring. You are the only girl that I know. The only one I won't take you home to mama. Give you everything, I keep up away. Africa's beauty, me no bed, love your wine. We can come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day. Now I'm addicted now. Nairobi girl, come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day. Now I'm addicted now. African girl, I'm not at peace, and you know. Nifanye nini nakafala for your love. Hatimango waera we yataneno. Baby, we are no Julie Romeo. Wacha ya kesho tu skize ya leo.
Good afternoon, family. Grand Rising. Karibuni sana. Happy new week ahead, money. This is the Black Hot Fire Network radio station. Video of the 21st century. We had a beautiful weekend. Ready for the conversation and the week.
Baby, no play. Just the other day. Now I'm addicted now. Nairobi girl, come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day. Now I'm addicted now. Nairobi girl, come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day. Now I'm addicted now. Nairobi girl, come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day. Now I'm addicted now.
Yes, Karibuni Sana. That is Caleb Singer featuring Jeff Core. Nairobi Girl, one of my favorite jams from him. Karibuni Sana. I hope you guys had a beautiful weekend and hope you are ready for the week. Travel live with us on the radio station, everyone with us on the network, on the YouTube channel, and of course to those who get to listen to this on a replay and also on all our platforms. Karibuni Sana once again. My name is Joby. 40 minutes past the top of the hour, and of course, welcome to today's debate. We shall be talking about South Sudan and the collaboration collaboration they have with Uganda and how they've been actually causing genocide, displacement of the people in that particular region. And of course, this is why, again, we talk about African countries always being turned against each other. Something or a term I learned last week, internal racism. That is basically what is being used to control and rule majority of us in the continent of Africa. But along that, on our conversation for the day, we shall be talking about, of course, the news and updates of what happened during the weekend, including on Friday, where we saw 7.7, is it 0.7.7, literally 7.7 magnitude of earthquake that affected, that is Thailand. We shall be talking a little bit on that, but later tonight, we shall be focusing much more on that conversation because we know this is basically, and I feel personally, as for me, regarding the things I've been seeing during the weekend, where I've seen also Brazil giving out literally lots of acres. That is, I think in collaboration with Amazon, trying to get the article correct. And this is them paving a way for the climate change summit, of course, for it, which has already started. We've seen so many countries are so much involved in this. Shout out to the US, which literally withdrawing itself from this, but countries in collaboration with the US, now they're left stranded. So what is the next step they're supposed to be taking? Talking about countries like the African continent itself, literally the African continent is deeply much involved in this because we know we're run by puppets, idiots, illiterate people who have not gone to school, not understanding what is really happening and not reading through the articles or the deals they're given, just signing things blindly. So we shall be talking about the Thailand earthquake, which of course 17 million people so far have been affected. And this is crazy. And we've been seeing so many people have been moving to Thailand. So I'm trying to understand what is really, really happening. Is this an alarm to do with the climate change, or what is this? Because so many people, again, have been moving to Thailand. And of course, along that, we shall be talking about, of course, a story that I saw last week. This is regarding Kakamega Gold Rush, basically literally where my grandma lives. Literally just 5 minutes to where my grandma, I would say 2 minutes to where my grandma lives. And to my utter shock, I didn't know that actually this is, which I was not really that surprised, but it's quite surprising to see that this has been operating since the 1930s. And we shall be going deeper a little bit into history as you see actually how the so-called company, this is Rosterman, how they claim they abandoned the mine, but we're still seeing the mine in the gold site or the mining site being very active till to date. Personally, I've been there in 2019. I'll be sharing actually some images I saw during the weekend where we were actually behind that particular mine and the biggest river, which actually can cause a very big problem as well when it comes to the mining, how it is being operated. But along that, we shall check also on the measures and safety of actually mining, because something that is barely talked about, as we see how a certain school actually did expose the environmental effects of artisan gold mining, and not just with the Rosterman gold site. We have so many, and there should be actually safety measures taken when it comes to mining. And of course, along that, we shall also talk about what is happening in other countries, including Uganda also itself. So karibuni sana, that is our top discussion for the day. But before we get started, I'd love to remind you, for those who are here for the first time, to subscribe, follow us on whatever stream you are with us from, download our app, which is very easy for you to find, and you can get these amazing supplements. I've shared some brain and focus formula, but before that, or before I get started, listen to what the multivitamin
Fuel your body with complete multivitamin, the perfect balance of essential nutrients for daily health and wellness. Carefully formulated from natural ingredients, our multivitamin packs vitamins A, C, D, E, plus key minerals like zinc and magnesium to support your immune system and boost energy. Just one tablet a day is all you need. Take it with water and feel the difference as prescribed by your healthcare provider. Stay active, stay strong, stay ready with Complete Multivitamin, your daily dose of vitality. Complete Multivitamin, simple, powerful nutrition. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition store.
Exactly. So once you have that, of course, you'll be able to also to see how the programs are aligned in case you are missing any, and you'll be also updated through the app on every news and updates on what is happening globally. Shout out to Byron Scott, Karibu Sana. Hope you're doing amazing. Hope you had a beautiful weekend. Hope you're ready for today's conversation and the week ahead. As we get started, of course, I want to start with what is happening with the gold mine. That is, I'd say, one of the major conversation I want us to have, because we're going to be checking deeper. Of course, we have so many gold mining sites, or illegal, let me call them illegal so-called mining centers. We have so many illegal mining sites that are literally controlled by so-called Chinese. We have I'd say the British companies also so much deeply involved, and other companies that, go actually or work behind our politicians. Politicians also very deeply involved. That was, I think, 2-3 weeks ago. I shared a video of where we had our former governor in Mombasa, who is right now in charge, rather a cabinet secretary of mining, who has zero skills, zero papers actually it comes to mining, but is now a cabinet secretary who is in control of our mining, resources and all that. But this guy actually came forth and he was exposing some Chinese group who actually caught, in a certain region right here in the 254 where they were mining illegal gold. And of course, is this a surprise? We know not just Kenya, we know when you go all the way to Congo, especially Congo and the rest of the African countries, we have just not only the Chinese, we have so many different companies that are so fully in control, of these so-called illegal mining sites. Now, when you come back to the Kakamega Illegal Mining Center, personally, I've been talking about it for quite some time. And I've said, when personally I went there in 2019, because I've been there a couple of times, but when I went there in 2019, I saw, the unbelievable. When you talk about gold, you know that this is something that should be actually talking about fortune. So if I come tell you today, Jiba Jaba, hey, I found gold, as my friend, and we should go look for a market where we can actually, make this exchange, and probably we're going to become rich and start a business. Most of the Africans, again, I'll repeat, we're not educated the importance of the gold, and this is why we have majority of the companies who are fully in control, and they put up these companies here because they use our people, which is exploitation, to do all this dirty work, as they become rich. We've seen, of course, so many times Kit has made me literally do the exchange of one, just literally the exchange of gold, 1 ton, or how many tons, literally, how much it costs, and it's a lot. But if you look at what Africans are earning, and this is what we call exploitation, majority is $2, $1, and some of them not even paid. If you try demand for your wages from the same Chinese companies or British company exploiting you, they end up putting guns on your head. So it is quite crazy to see that this has been happening. But I want to share an article first regarding the what is it called, the gold site itself first. So give me a minute. I wanna first read the article. Of course, I did go ahead and ask that is Google, who owns Kakamega Gold Rush. It's called Kakamega Gold Rush, in that it has been operating since the 1930s. Of course, again, this is the whole of the African continent, not just Kenya. I believe with the video we saw last week from Lynn Gugim regarding the safari rally and how the white people literally came seeing the beauty of our continent. They had good structures on how they will exploit us, because, they saw the beauty, they saw also the gold, they saw we were never begging, we had everything, but they ensured we're going to become so illiterate to the point where we're going to lose sense of understanding the resources and the importance and the value. Let me talk about the value of the resources we have. So the Kakamega gold rush of the 1930s was fueled by the discovery of gold in the northern Kavirondo reserve. And while no single entity owned the rush, it was primarily driven by the British mining companies and prospectors, including Johnson Eldoret Mining Syndicate and Tanganyika concession. So you can say basically this takes us back to the history that Lynn Gugi was sharing to us when the white people came, when they were, making our people to work for them, paving the ways. Because I do believe actually, when you talk about the Safari Rally, probably this is the some of the places basically where the cars pass by. And also when you go all the way to Tanganyika, when you go all the way to the borders of Uganda, all the three countries are literally combined. But before we get to continue, I see Keith has joined us. Karibu sana, Keith.
Santi Sana, how you doing, Joby?
I'm good. You look very active. You sound very active, energetic, ready for the day, for the week.
You have a good weekend?
I did. You?
Hell no, I had no damn weekend.
Why? I say you didn't do no show, so I bet you did try rest. Come on. I bet you did try have a rest because there's no show you did. So I hope you did have a rest. But anyway, Karibu Sana. We're just getting started with today's conversation, and I'm starting with the Kakamega Gold Rush. This is basically where my dad is born, where my grandma stays, and I've been speaking
Uh
about.
oh. Well, we say where to go was that. Uh oh. Uh
Yeah,
oh.
this is
And,
I've
and
been
lots
talking.
of moon and lots of moonshine.
Yeah, I've been talking about it for quite some time, and I'm glad that I bumped into a video on TikTok that made me, dig a little bit deeper into this. And to my surprise, and not surprise at the same time, but to me, I'm gonna be surprised when I when I discover something for the first time. So this has been it's been a gold mining that has been running since the 1930s, and of course, I went
Wow.
far to ask, Google who owns it. So we have a company called the Rosette Mart, that
You
is
know,
Ross,
you know,
sorry,
you know, you know, no Africans own the shit. You know
of
that.
course, of course. So the company that owns this so-called this Kakamega Gold Rush is called Rosterman, but they claim it was abandoned. But we're not gonna get into that first right now. They claim it was abandoned. If it is
That's
really
out there. That's out there in Western Kenya, right?
Yeah. If it
Okay.
is really abandoned, the question is why is it still run? Why is it that people are still, digging gold there if the company really abandoned this site for real, for real? Why is it that we still see the activity of gold mining,
Because there's
being
still
very
gold
active?
there. Because there's still gold there. That's why.
I'm gonna let you guys to figure out as we continue. So they're saying that the Kakamega gold rush of the 1930s was fueled by the discovery of gold in the northern Kavirondo Reserve. While no single entity owned the rush, it was primarily driven by the British mining companies and prospectors, including Johnson Eldoret Mining Syndicate and Tanganyika Concession. And again, personally, when I see Tanganyika and when I look at the western part of Kenya, this just reminds me of what Lynn Gugi was talking about again. Because when you talk about Naivasha, Nakuru, Eldoret, we're talking about the western parts of Kenya. And this is where the exploitation of people was happening, where people are being told to bend back their backs to, clear the road for the safari
And
rally
slavery.
queen. Yeah. So this is something that is still happening today. This is why we see people digging their gold and they don't understand the worth of what they are doing. You see them earning $1 or $2, or probably most of the time for nothing, or nothing. So they're saying the discovery and the initial interest is according to Google, a small group of prospectors, including I don't know who L.A. Johnson, I don't know what is his first name, but L.A. Johnston, that is his name. Of course, this is
We
a
know
white.
we know he's British.
Yeah,
Johnston, that's British. So you know he's
yeah,
British.
yeah. Who had experience in the Klondike gold rush, discovered alluvial gold in the Kakamega area in 1930 and 1931. And Johnson Syndicate found a large outcrop of gold-bearing quarters reefs in the Kiminini area and acquired an exclusive prospecting license over the considerable area, which is 151 acres of land, literally. So they're saying mining operators include Tanganyika Concession, where who were interested in the gold and paid Johnson Eldoret Mining Syndicate and handsomely for their rights. And then we have the Rosterman Gold Mines, which comes in, which of course is the same people, a British gold mining company, Rosterman Gold Mines was licensed to mine gold in the 1930s. And then we have, there's so many companies actually involved. So not just one, just so many, like so many operating under the same area. So from there, we see basically the discovery of this particular region is in the 1930s. So let me share this video of this lady who's breaking it down a little bit. And then I go back to the news and updates we've had from the media over the years of them lying to us, where this operation is not owned by anyone. Investigations are always happening. And this takes me back to something I was asking, I think, some time back, and then it comes to the cartels. If again Rosterman really shuts down their company, who's really operating in these gold mining centers? If the British company literally completely removed themselves from here, who is benefiting then? Because the African people are digging these gold sites, they're not benefiting. There's someone who understands the value of this gold more than I do. Because I'm just probably, even for me, let me just say, because I've been in that village a couple of times. I'm gonna share the photo we took with my sister in that particular region, in that mining center. I found it during the weekend. So I remember when we went there, and then looking at most of the people, number one, they have not finished school. So we're talking about illiterate people. I'm sorry to say, but they're illiterate. There's someone, if you try talk to them about, like what Keith, you keep on telling me, pull up the value of gold, this is the amount. Do you believe that person is going to believe you today? While all they've been benefiting is $2 plus $2.
I don't know what they go. I don't know what the hell they believe.
They won't believe you, because if all my life I've been earning $2, me, I've interacted with the people from that region. They are really illiterate.
And then I don't know what size of gold. I know an ounce of gold today. What is it, Joe? I think it's like $3,000 an ounce. If you guys do the ounces, no bigger than your goddamn tip of your thumb. Small. I think it's like $3,000 an ounce.
Yeah, $3,121. That is an ounce. And
an ounce, exactly. So do you know how big an ounce is, Jovi?
You said bigger than my thumb or smaller than that?
No, smaller than your thumb. Smaller, tiny, little bit. Look up with an
thumb.
Small, yeah, not smaller than your little thumb. About the size of your thumbnail.
So according to me, what I've seen, in a week, these people can collect something bigger than my thumb in a week.
Okay. I'm saying your thumbnail, not your thumb. Your thumbnail. Yeah. Your thumbnail. Today's price was $3,100. You said $120. So smaller than your thumb is worth $1,120, Joby. That's the price.
This is crazy. So you come to me with that.
I give you $1.
Trust me, if you come to me with that bullshit, I'm not gonna believe you. And again, I just hope something is gonna make me go to
then I can do it if you're stupid. That's your fault. I can't do nothing about that.
I hope something is gonna make me to that region, maybe one time or maybe sometime, and I'll do an interview. I'm even gonna go live, like on that particular gold. Like, hey, how much do you make? Do you know how much is gold? And trust me, most of the people are going to say what they gain, because that's what they've been made to believe. If you're not taught the value of anything, of what you really have, you'll never, even if no matter how many times I'll try to convince you, it's the same with the religion. I'd say this is what you've been fed all your life. So how are you going to believe that,
I get you. How do you unlearn a lie? Exactly. How do you unlearn a lie?
This is from the lady.
The Kakamega gold rush started as a rumor that gold flakes had been found in River Yala, and within a month, about 1,000 white settlers had arrived from the US, the UK, South Africa, and Australia.
See, that's how you're the same people. They arrived from America, the white people in America, the white people from South Africa, white people from Europe, the white people from Australia, all end up in Kenya. They steal the gold.
So I say the same company.
And when they got together, they say, "Oh, you white people are different tribes. They all got along to steal and get money." Ain't it funny? And none of them said they were different tribes from South Africa, Australia, America, or Europe. Good.
everything in the Great Economic Depression of the 1930s. They set up camp all over Kakamega, disregarding the fact that they were encroaching on people's land.
They
Shopping
didn't care about
centers
that.
and bars quickly sprang up to cater to this new population. Seeing this, the colonial government decided to put it under control by introducing mining permits. This move encouraged the Standard Bank of South Africa to set up 2 branches in Kakamega by 1934. By
And
1935,
for
a
South
mining
Africa,
company, Rosterman Gold, emerged as the biggest player, digging 400 meters deep and producing 36 kilograms per month. With all this happening, Kakamega sort of became the regional capital, superseding Mumias, which was already declining. This newfound growth was, however, short-lived. By 1940s, the gold deposits dried up and the miners left.
Well, they didn't really leave because it's they still gold there. Well, I've been there personally. The last time I was there, it was in 2019, and this was me with my sister. Literally, we took pictures there. In the same river, River Yala. Here it is, River Yala behind us, and there, literally, there's a lot of crocodiles, a lot of hippos, but the people don't care. They still continue with their activity. Very active. Gold mine is still very active. So the question is, who is really benefiting? Because according to an article released in 2013, they're saying that Rosterman is an abandoned gold mine located in Kakamega County on Western Kenya, and the mine was started in 1935 and was abandoned without rehabilitation in 1952, with deep open excavation and huge amount of tollings due to non-enforcement of rehabilitation policy during the time. And the locals have been panning the tollings for gold remains and unaware of the impact of the leached elements. Water from the nearby stream is used for domestic purposes, and the water has
damn,
pounded in the
probably
abandoned mine. Yeah, it has. Yeah, the water has
that
actually like.
that water's poison.
It has pounded into the abandoned mine pits and has been dangerous on both people and animals that drown in it. Yes, so many people have drowned there. There's a time actually one of my cousins almost drowned there, literally. Yeah, and I remember the first time when we went there, they were telling me like, you can swim here, and I'm like, there's crocodiles here though. How do you guys swim here? And so they're like telling me and my sister, you can swim here. We're like, nah, we don't know how to swim on a river. You guys know how to swim on where the hippos and we don't know that, so don't
Are you
encourage us.
crazy? You got hippos and crocodiles. A hippo will eat the fuck out your ass. A big ass hippo,
They swim
crocodile, man, you crazy.
swim there. They do swim there. So they're also saying to enable the future rehabilitation, there was a need to establish the quality of the mine water. And the study aimed at assessing the concentration of the leached elements in the abandoned mine water and their influence on the soil pH, that is the salinity and the runoff to nearby streams, and samples of mine at the stream water were analyzed for various selected total elements. We have iron, manganese, we have zinc, we have copper, lead, cadmium, we have chromium, and the concentration period during 2006 to 2007. I don't want to read the whole thing, but personally, my question is, after they abandoned, who's really in control? Because this takes me back to the politician. Someone is really fully in control of this region and is benefiting of it. It was never completely abandoned, because news emerge every single time. We see news and updates literally and reports every single time of people dying there, some people losing their lives, this and this. There's always that war between this region and this region, who's fully in control of who is the cartel, someone trying to take over. So it takes us back to majority of the so-called illegal mines we have in Africa, not just Kenya, because so many people lose their lives. And this because, again, we're not taught the value. We don't even have manufacturing industries that can process also all these minerals. So it all goes back to the white people. Even if our politicians are benefiting, I believe it's not something big as the way the white people do, literally, because
Of course not.
people again. So let me share this very quickly. These are video from 10 years ago, but if you look at YouTube, there's so many videos done every year about this particular place.
12 noon in Quisero, Kakamega County.
My grandma just lives like 2 minutes from there, from that particular place.
Who does? Who lives there? Your grandmother?
Yeah.
She's still alive?
Yeah, she's still alive. She's still alive.
Okay.
The last time, remember, she came to Nairobi was in 2021 when I started working in Black on Fire. Then she came around, you know, and all that.
Was that your mother's mother or your father's mother?
My dad's mom.
Okay.
Site, but at a closer look,
was that the one told you found a white man?
Of the many mining
Yes.
sites that straddle the Kakamega County, a job that many residents prefer to farming because they think it pays better.
$2. So most of the people, that is true. They have abandoned farming, and this is the same place. I was so surprised. I was so surprised because there's so much arable land in this place, and I'm talking about so much, like fertile arable land. So when I went there, so my grandma
I'm laughing. You can't. This why they don't educate. Shout to even Tourette's get free education. This is moron. This how you have an education system so bad. These people are so stupid. And just keep it out. That's why Africans are so easily conquered. They're gonna do this bullshit, this hard labor, instead of just plant seeds and make money off of farming, which will bring you more money. This what I'm talking. This you. I can't be born again by one of these morons. I can't. Go ahead, Joe.
You will wake up. Yeah, so I'm saying personally, I did observe this because I think I mentioned it also some time back. Most of the people will abandon farming over this because they believe it's quick money. I mean, you're gonna wait for, farming, you're gonna have to wait for the harvesting season and all that.
That's all right.
This is quick moonshine, get your $2, get quick moonshine and anything you want. So.
Kanungo has been mining for the past 29 years.
29 years. 29 years and he's broke as shit. I own dirty ass hat, dirty clothes. 30 years of that shit, he figured out, hey, this ain't working.
Nafanya kazi kwa sababu hatuna vibarua.
Like saying we do this because we don't have jobs. We don't imagine abandoning a whole job of farming to this, which is slavery of yourself.
You could have farmed, dummy.
Tunachimba mashimo, tunatoa maji, tunasumbuka zaidi, lakini huwa tunapata gold kidogo ya kuweza kutusaidia kama sisi.
But how do miners identify a productive gold mine?
Lazima tufanye investigation kwanza kucheck. Kama tumeshafanya check up.
He don't know. He been doing it for 29 years. He broke. So why listen to his ass? Why am I listening to him about a productive gold mine? It ain't helped his ass.
According to the miners, it takes 2 to 3 days digging deep into the ground, draining the water using buckets. The process of isolating the gem from the rubble then starts. The mud is funneled through this trough that is fitted with a sack.
So I remember when I went to the village the last time, my stepmom and I were washing clothes on that. You see that river you see there? We were washing clothes there. Yeah, because there's no clean source of water.
Man.
They have damaged the river completely.
But there is another group that washes the sack to remove the particles, a process that can take hours before
I know it's a lot of stinky motherfuckers around there.
Hiyo gold ishatoa. Naweza pata karibu gram 2-3. Na hiyo gram 2-3 hiyo ni shilingi karibu 10. Hiyo 10,000 tu watu 20.
So they're saying 3 grams. So let me see 3 grams. That is let me see 3 grams.
That's small to the ounce. See how much?
Okay.
See, ask Google how many grams make an ounce. How many gold grams make an ounce?
Okay.
29 years. His ass should know the goddamn price of gold. 29 years.
28 grams make an ounce.
Okay, so he needs 28 grams. So every divided, he's got like 3 grams So 3 grams, and we divide that, so probably was about $100.
Yeah, that is what
80.
he said. He makes $100 out of it.
Okay, yes, okay. I think it's about $100. See, so he knows the price of the shit.
Not all of them. So you'll find for him,
Uh,
you can see he's the I'd say the bigger person here probably.
okay.
The
Okay.
TV is talking to him. He's the bigger. You'd say he's the cartel here. So they're gonna give him that amount of money. Then he's gonna give the rest of the people $2 because
God damn.
always someone distributing the money. You're not gonna be
Okay.
given. There's always that distributor.
tunagawana.
Yeah, you see, they divide. That is what he said. You divide the money, so he's gonna get the bigger share.
maalum zenye mtu inatakana uvae ukiwa underground, hata ukuwe na oxygen bag, ambapo ni ngumu sana kwa kikundi kidogo kufacilitate.
According to the Ministry of Mining in Western Region, artisan miners are taught on the safety precautions while in the mines.
Which is a lie. This is just all for the cover up of the media. There's nothing like that. There's
of course, there's no damn health procedure, none of that shit. I know.
Yeah,
so,
zero skills like
that's all what you young kids call cat.
Or drop out, and then immediately, if you don't have a job, go back to that particular place. It's crazy. It is super insane. But as we get to move on to the next conversation, as we leave that particular one, this is of course a norm we know in Africa. I just wanted to share it because personally it's something I've been talking about for quite some time, and I was quite surprised to see it has been operating since the 1930s. And if so abandoned, like they were saying, why is it still running? Meaning there's someone who's
but it's still small gold deposit. It's not. It's not big enough for them to be invested in it. So it's still got gold there, but not as much to have all those people that invest in it to make. See, white people make millions of dollars. So it's probably got small deposits of gold, of course, but only enough to support like small mining like that. Not to have like big mining anymore because all the gold's been sucked out of it. So. So the main yield, but wherever there's still small yield, that means there's a big yield around there that no one's found. There's still a big yield somewhere around there and no one's found it yet.
And they will. If they will, they're gonna come back. See them still.
No shit. Of course they're gonna come back. And all those small guys are gonna be, hey, you get your ass out of here. You white people.
But as we get to move on to the next conversation, I want to take us to Nigeria a little bit. Of course, last week we saw demonstrations happening, and they're still going on. A few people were confirmed shot because that is so much expected when you see Africans demonstrating for true democracy. Expect a few people to be shot.
Democracy. That's what we're using live bullets. Why are you using live bullets doing a democracy? So, see, all these fake terms.
That was here to show you Kenya is practicing democracy despite Kenyans complaining. Come on. Like, he has violated human rights. We don't care. That is human rights. Come on. This is what we like. And, I was just trying to think about it and then understanding deeper the term civilization. And then I'm like, God damn, this makes sense now. When you have the white people, because number one, these people never even had civilization. So the way they
never been civil.
The way they came to Africa, it was all brutal. This is the same term, the same rule that we have: brutalization, prison, enslaving people, which is still very active. And then you look at now them pushing a country like Niger. Shout out to the new president Tiani, saying that we need Mohamed Bazoum to go back to civil rule. And then you look at it, so civil rule is where you have the right to kill people.
Don't get caught in the words, Joe. But the words don't get caught in their action. They see white people do this. White people do words, but they don't believe those actions. All fake. Exactly. Don't get caught in what they say. Civil. They've never had a civilization. They've never been civil. They've always been warmongering, try to dominate, steal, and rob. Don't believe nothing they say about the human rights. They don't believe in none of that shit. Those are just flowery words.
I agree. So that's what I'm saying. I sat down just thinking, because I was thinking about Niger just during the weekend, just doing my shit, and I'm like, wait a minute, Mohamed Bazoum. Why did they want this nigga back in power again?
Because he was their puppet.
And then you look at it, you're like, this civil term. Number one, we're the civil people, but the way white people want to describe civilization is by us having a nigger on the picture, but their action, the ones which are literally plain. It's just having, you have a black man as your leader, the way you guys want it, okay? But it's our actions, our dominance, the way we want the country to
Yeah,
be. How
exactly. Exactly.
not your
We say
civil
we say the civil if it benefits us. We say in the civil if we get to steal your resources. They don't believe in none of that stuff, Joe. They don't believe in no democracy. They don't believe in no democracy. And that's how you got somebody in power like Museveni for 40 years and they ain't saying nothing about it. Because he supports them. How you got Kagame in power for 30 years and ain't nobody saying nothing to him? Because they support it. They don't believe in no democracies. They got Paul Beer for 40 years. They ain't said nothing because they do their bidding. Just like they got, why is 70 asking Ibram Toure to visit Uganda? For what? What reason? Please visit Uganda. No, I'm not going. For what? You are a puppet and you're trying to get me set up. I go with my military. We'll go that way. If I'm making anything happen to me, we're killing you. Okay? Any funny business happen to me, you out of power.
They want to feed you a lot of bubble gums, a lot of bubble
exactly. Trying to figure out how any reason me to go for you. Go where? Go where? To your bankrupt, backward ass country? No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good. There's no reason for me to go to Uganda for what? Ain't nothing happening there. Ain't nobody building shit there. Why would I go? Because I just want you to thank me for being president for the 500th time. Nah, I'm good. Congratulations. I can do that over the phone. Congratulations to you, despot. Especially you're the same ones I've been talking about. You're the same people I've been talking about. All you corrupt bastard, and every single one of you. Oh, he needs to step down and put civil rule back in there. He is civil rule. The people want him there. His people. His people want him there. But go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, but so let me share about Nigeria. So I'm glad to see Nigerians are really waking. The confidence is really, I love to see it. Personally, I think I love revolution. Seeing people just complaining about their government in the right way, because like you've been saying, it's not something we've seen in Africa for the longest time. The age of Tinubu, the same people who are so scared to talk today. The age of
it's always that's been the last 20 years. It ain't just been 10, but that's been since the beginning of fake independence. Always scared to talk. That's what they installed. That's what we were talking about Friday, how they installed fear in the African.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. Just it's crazy. Thinking about it is so deep. Like why Africans we are so scared of so many things. Imagine the man being killed, the woman being raped in front of the man. Then there's nothing the man is gonna do. So this makes you feel some type of way about your man. That is something that was created. Now we have like you're talking about the Black American women now, how they disrespect somehow, which is just blankly there.
But not all of them. But not all of them. But that's inbred until they figured out. Yeah, that comes from slavery. Also, it did the same thing in colonialization. It did the same thing. That's why you had that's why you got such fear and the love of them, and that's all indoctrinated. It's all, like you said, viciously put inside you, Joe, through brutality. Never through some fake,
I can't wait for us to finish the rest tonight. Yeah, it makes sense even with the beating, because I used to question why we're so beaten in schools, at home. Why is it that a parent can't just be gentle with you, correcting you by the word of mouth? Why do you have to be so?
Well, you didn't have because that came from European culture, it comes from savages who never civil. Somebody give you civil. You can't get civilization from savages, Joby. So now you got beatings in school, and then before the Europeans showed up, you didn't have no beatings in Africa like that. But now you think that's African culture to beat your children. How was that? You knew there was no beating because there wasn't even any jails in Africa. No one went to jail, Joby.
On Friday we saw some information of was it a 15, 17-year-old girl? I can't remember. I think a 15-year-old girl was beaten to death by for not marrying a 55-year-old man. 15-year-old.
Wow. See, wow. Where was that at?
In Kenya, here in Kenya.
Wow. It was like, wow. So who beat her to death? Her parents?
Yeah, parents. And then we also had
A
another
15-year-old child. So you're talking about forced pedophilia. So I'm beating you to death because I want you to practice pedo. I want a 55-year-old man to marry you, which is pedophilia. It's a baby, it's a child. What 55-year-old man? Imagine what 55-year-old man is messed up in the head enough to try to take a 15-year-old baby. You
and
are
then
messed up in the mind.
we had a 17-year-old boy who was also beaten to death by his uncles because of smoking. So he was beaten to death. Like,
But
this
he ain't
this
got beaten to death. Why somebody got to be beaten to death? I can't say, hey, don't do it.
man,
Stop the behavior. I got to be
being
beaten. Why you got to be beaten to death?
being honest, for me,
Crazy.
I think it's if it's not because of my stepmom, I always say my worst beating was from my dad. That is, I always think about it. I always feel even so crazy. Like, I'm like, there's no way you beat me so badly. So like, why did you have so much animosity in you? If it was not for my stepmom, being honest, I don't think I'd be alive. My dad really was beating me so
Oh,
bad.
he was
She
he
laid on
wasn't
top of me.
he wasn't beaten. That was the rage at him. That's something wrong with him. It really
Exactly.
wasn't about you.
There's caning punishment because you understand the
Listen,
difference.
Joe. Listen, Joe. But when you beat somebody like that, it's not about the person you're beating. There's
Mhm.
something that's the rage inside of you. There's something inside of you. Something wrong with you that you just take it out because he was. You got to go back. See, I told you got to go back and say, how did your father grow up? Either he was beaten bad. Was his behavior means somebody that was abused, Joe?
I don't care. Whatever he
I'm
did,
just, I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know that he comes from an abusive background. So
I think
his
so.
his beat, yeah, he does. That's the behavior. Those are the patterns. So when you beat somebody like that, your daughter up or your son up like that, there's something wrong with you, not the person you're beating. That's them getting out all there because they hurt people, Joe. That's why you had. Okay, let me do a famous person first. That's why R. Kelly was abusing women because as a baby, it's not right what he did later, but he didn't never got help. He got abused as a child. He was getting raped as a child. So that becomes the pattern.
Hmm.
So your father was getting beaten, hurt as a child. So he continued the pattern. He
It's
never got
insane.
help. And
It's
so he
insane.
normalized that.
Personally, hell no. I think I learned from even my brother, taking care of my brother. I think I've said it before. I had an aunt who was always accusing him of, things he has not done. So she wanted me to beat him, like beat my brother all the time. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I can just talk to him and he'll change. Because if he
Yeah.
says he has not done it, I know he has not done it. Like, and I know my brother, he'll not be lying, and I know when he's lying, so he's not done it, and I'm not gonna put an hand
Yeah.
on him. And that from that, I think I also told myself because of the way I
That's
saw
called
my dad.
that's called colonization, slave culture, Joker. Now that you
Yeah,
beat everything, everything's a beating. Everything's a you learned that from the Europeans. There was no. How can the most peaceful people now always beating everybody? That came from Europeans. They've inflicted that shit on like they did in America. Black people think it's okay to beat your kid. Oh, you ain't beating your kids. You ain't loving your kids if you ain't beating them and all so crazy shit. I never beat my kids. Ain't funny. Ain't none of them in jail. Ain't none of them criminals. I never beat my children. I did one time. Well, one time when my wife said it's my daughter, and I felt so damn bad. I went because and that's because my wife was embarrassed. You don't have a deed. I mean, you don't put your hands on them. So I don't believe in none of that. And so I went there. So was pressured by my wife. I went and whipped her butt. And I know I went too fucking far. So I went into the bedroom and I cried. I said, "Oh my God, I went too far." So my daughter, knowing me, I never put my hands on her. She came to me. She said, "It's okay, Daddy. I know you didn't want to." I said, "I think I went overboard, baby." She said, "Yeah, but it's okay." But that time, that's the only time I put a hand on any one of my children. They'll tell you, I never beat them, never whipped them, never none of that shit. Why ain't none? He said, if you don't beat them, they'll go to prison. None of my children are in prison. All my children are successful. None of my children are criminals. So explain that to me. If your beating works, and all the people that have been beaten all sitting in these prisons in America.
Actually, what I came to figure out, the more you beat a child, the more they become notorious with things, because they know
Of
the end of the
course.
gonna beat me, and that became me actually at some point, because I knew no matter what I do, my dad is still gonna put his hands on me. No matter how I defend myself, even if I'm correct, he's not gonna wanna listen. It's still him who is right. So I did it
But you got to
either.
understand, you got to understand that's see then you got to go into the psychology of something. You got to start getting into the psychology of it. So that's why I had to understand, be more educated. I said, oh, that's why my father was fucked up. He had been
Yeah.
abused as a child. He had been beaten, and so he didn't know no other way. So that's why he lashed out. That doesn't mean I have to do that. So if I know better, I'm supposed to do better. So by then I knew. I understood his behavior. So I didn't have to continue that cycle. So a lot of people continue that vicious cycle. So
Mhm.
I said, no, I'm not gonna be beating my children and all this old kind of crazy mess. This is black African culture that have been beating on each other and all this crazy stuff. That came from white people. So can't nobody ever tell me no, you didn't beat your children, but don't nobody call me from prison and say, hey, Dad, can you put some money on my prison books? Ain't nobody call me. Ain't nobody call me saying that they're homeless. Okay? So
Yeah.
don't tell me about the beating nonsense that makes your kids better. Because not one of my babies are criminals. Not one of them are in jail. So you can spare me your thing about not, but we should beat our kids and not beating them is wrong. Okay, well you do you. My children grew up without getting beaten. So no, you can't convince me that you're supposed to be brutal to your children and beat them and all that nonsense. That's craziness.
Sure, we need to break the trauma. You need to change that, and until maybe you learn,
But,
like you've said,
but,
until you
but,
learn maybe how your dad was raised, you wouldn't change that. The same way, for personally, is because I didn't like the way my dad was treating me. So I was like, I'd never put a hand on my brother nor my child too. So I like nah, because in Africa we're allowed. I don't know about you guys, but in Africa we're allowed to correct our siblings. Like, oh, you can beat them and all that. So for me, I was like, nah. I'm never gonna raise
yeah,
my hand on my brother ever, 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 and nor my children, because I didn't like the treatment of my dad. But as we get into Nigeria, Nigerians are coming out, of course, talking about elections, how they were also rigged. I love the way they're understanding this right now, and understanding that elections, you might turn up in numbers, but it's not you guys who end up picking who you really picked. Who you want is not going to be put into power by you. They are selected, not elected by you people. So I want to share this video of this lady was talking about it.
We, the people, want to state clearly that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not our president-elect.
yeah. Look at all these fake democracies are run by the CIA. We must go back to we must go back to the democracy. All the democracies in Africa are fake. All of them. They're fake. They're controlled. There's no democracy. Ain't nobody winning no elections no 40 and 50 years. Go ahead, Joe.
He is the president-elect of Professor Mahmoud Yakub, of INEC, and of APC. The president-elect of Nigeria will emerge through a free, fair, and transparent process, as stipulated by the guidelines and rules of INEC, from voting to posting, uploading on the beavers, to the servers, to collation, to pronouncement. And hopefully, the president-elect will be pronounced in the daytime, not at night, while
Exactly, because most of it's funny, I don't know in America, but in Africa, something that we've noticed when it comes to election, I believe also the 99% of Kagame was also announced probably during the night. But most of the time, sort of notice when it's election time, the announcements are done during night, when people are sleeping. When people are totally in sleep, that is when you wake up, you're like, the president is so and so. And why don't you do this during daytime? You know, so this is why she's talking about, having the, I'd say maybe probably like the IEBC we have in
Talking
Kenya. That
about
is
talking about talking about the scam.
yeah, she's talking about the INEC, which I believe stands for the election board in
Yeah, that's
Nigeria.
it. That's
Yeah,
it.
and then you have the other people who she mentioned. Those are the people, they work for Tinibu. They don't work for the people. And this is why she's talking about, if elections were really transparency, we'd see elections being announced during daytime, not nighttime. And that is the same thing that happened in Kenya, actually to cause the 2007 massive, deadly attack. Elections were announced at night. And this is why we saw the Mungikis were attacking people at night, killing, torturing houses, because it's the Kikuyos, the Luos, and all that. It was just so crazy, man. And I hope history doesn't repeat itself, because we need to put tribalism aside. We need
cannot
to.
be enjoying on our behalf.
Mm-hmm.
They are buying private jets and people are staying under the bridge. If the vice president says that those protesting for their rights, for their life, for their survival are idiots, then the vice president is an idiot.
Exactly. So the Nigerians were called idiots, like us were called criminals for demonstrating. Yeah, they have been also called and termed refugees for demonstrating about their countries. I remember for us, we were called criminals, and we had Ruto saying that anyone who should be found demonstrating, that is a criminal. They're not part of this country, So
I was a criminal as part of the Constitution. Oh,
make it make sense.
that,
Yes, if he has the powers to call us citizens, not refugees, he looked at us and tell us that we are idiots, then the vice president is an idiot. Because they are building presidential villa for you, we don't have places to stay. Have you seen the amount for house rents?
Exactly. Most Nigerians are sleeping under the bridges. That is what she's saying. Most of the people are jobless. Most of the students cannot go to school. Most of the people cannot eat 3 meals a day, leave alone even 2 meals. 3 meals a day cannot. They are surviving, and this is
we don't
literally
want
Nigeria,
we don't
African
want
country.
three meals of bushmeat.
A citizen of Nigeria.
Can't afford the bushmeat, man. What you gonna do? Yeah, you're gonna have to live in the jungle, become a hunter. Then that's easier.
I am a citizen of this country. If I say I am tired of this country, where will I go? I have an NIN. I have an international passport of Nigeria. As a citizen of this country, the president is not representing Nigeria. The president is not representing the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Rather, he's representing the Federal Republic of himself and his family. We are
Exactly. He's representing the Federal Republic of himself and his family. This is how we see nepotism very active in Africa. Very easy for you to put your sister-in-law, your brother-in-law, your uncle,
Yep.
your dead niece, your dead nephews, your dead grandparents. They're all in
Yep.
charge of bullshit, in the country. So it is all about you and your family. And that's why you see them getting big with the balloon stomach. It's not a joke. These people are all about their families. You
I
see
know.
someone, we
So,
were just talking on Friday. I think on Friday we were talking about one of the members of parliament currently, who was just a youth. We saw this guy growing up as an actor. Now he's the biggest balloon stomach we see right now. He was fighting for the rights of the people. Oh, you pick me, I'm gonna defend your right. I understand, because I've been an actor. I understand the cry of the youth. He doesn't. He's now full of balloon stomach. He
all right,
has
he thought that's how you used to do. They start getting that government stolen money, Joey. Like,
we
damn,
have
y'all, I gotta feed my stomach, not you.
man. I'm not getting. I don't have a balloon stomach. I've been working. How long have I been working here? For the last 4 years now, 4 to 5 years, literally, and I'm still the same. Even
Actually, you lost weight because you said you was chubby. That's when that picture. I know that picture I seen on YouTube. I don't know how old that is. You was chubby back then. I said, damn, I don't remember Joey being that chubby, but obviously you was. Shit, I don't remember.
yeah, I'm going back to that. Careful.
are dying. I'm in Abeokuta. I lost my home in Lagos, and things were hard for me. I said, okay, make I come Abeokuta if life will be easy. Why are MTNs coming us?
all the tariff are scamming us, and Nigeria government are not doing
Hey,
anything about it.
Joe, but you got to translate. I don't know what the hell he's saying.
Yeah, so you're saying the same thing when you go to the national, when you go to these public services or the public, offices or the government offices, you need to maybe replace your ID card or your passport. You get scammed, and it's a thing again in the whole of
all the
Africa.
time.
You get scammed, and the government doesn't talk about it. It's just like Ruto, right? Ruto, we saw he's the same person who actually increased the taxes of us replacing our identification card. Now, because we're headed towards election, and the no majority of the youths, are talking about going to vote in 2027, they have all of a sudden scrapped everything and telling us now the IDs are free. Go pick as many IDs as you want. This also goes. If people don't understand, this is them stealing elections already. So if you go pick those IDs, that is how they're stealing election. I don't know how they do it, but they steal election through identification cards. So if you don't have any, don't pick right now. Wait until they bring back the taxes, as a matter of fact, because this is for their own benefit. They do things when it is only beneficial for them. When you talk about how you're being, scammed outside there, how much you have to pay for you to get even a certificate you've worked so hard for. Remember the lady who was complaining about the certificate. She had paid for certificate. The teachers are telling you to sleep with them. You do this so that you can get your certificate. What do you mean? I've been here studying for the last 4 or 5 years. You're telling me I have to bend over for you to give me my certificate? You sound crazy.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly. I got to bend over to get something that's supposed to belong to me. It's absolutely because that's how the corruption is so blatant. It's out in the open, Joe. And that's why Black Americans get shocked. We deal with corruption, but not in Africa. It's in your face. It's like blatant. Like what?
Yeah.
It's that blatant. It's like getting slapped across the head. What?
It's in your head. No, that's what I was saying on Thursday. Like, we've normalized corruption to the point which is it's our daily lifestyle now. Especially in Africa, Africans to Africans now, it has become even so worse. Like, you remember me sharing the story of that lady who has been scamming hundreds of
people to go to fake jobs that don't exist.
Imagine,
you thought she would have stole the money and left Kenya. She should have known they were going to eventually come and get her. If you're going to run a scam like that, that's not going to last forever. People are going to figure it out. You take that money, you leave and go move to another African country. He's like, I got this money, I'm out of here. You can't.
The desperation of the people is going to make you stay in the business longer, Keith. When you see how desperate people are, because people are desperate for jobs, no cap. I mean, it didn't make sense to me. That's the calculation we're trying to do. If you can make $100 in a week and you save to the point where you can make $1,000 for you to pay this woman to get a job outside in a month, how much can you do in a year if you are here, and then you start a business? It's just this is what I'm talking about. Critical thinking Africans will lack. Not me though. You Africans lack critical thinking to the point where you don't even understand when you're being scammed that way. Like, just critical. You just make calculations 1, 2, 3. Like, this is not making sense.
Why are you paying people for a job to go? That first of all, that don't make no sense. Why are you paying somebody to go get a job somewhere else? Why you got to pay for a job? The job is there. The job is free. That means they need employers, employ people.
The men pay, the women don't. For the men paid. So the part which even didn't make sense to me is the women not critically thinking that women don't pay. Women don't pay a penny. All you give is your identification cards, your whatever cards, and then you're gonna get your ID within 2 days or 3 days. Or within
exactly. Women don't pay because the Muslim countries want most of so they can rape and beat African women. So that's what's going on. They don't want the men over there. They don't want your weak ass men. They want your weak ass men to stay in Africa and be broke and messed up. Yeah. They want the women so they can have them over there and rape them and do what they want to do with them. That's why when they first come in, they take your passport so you can't get out of there. Then they begin the abuse.
Critical thinking again. But as we get closer to winding up on the last conversation of the day is about South Sudan and Uganda and how they have been collaborating together literally in genociding the Sudanese people in general.
Museveni again. That's why Museveni's a puppet. So he's been helping. And shout out to the brother Shout out to the brother I met a couple of weeks ago from Sudan, but of course South Sudan, he was there before the country broke up, just like
This
Michelle's
is how you
husband.
erase the
So
people.
Sorry.
so he was talking about
This is how
he
you
said,
erase the people.
so he was saying, you know who's in there, right? The 70. I said, damn, the 70's up in there? He said, yeah, his rotten ass is back up in there helping the government genocide the other people. I said, I told you. I said, listen, I don't know you, but I said, once they start breaking up Sudan, now you got two different countries, it's going to completely break up again. The whole thing the Europeans want and the Arabs want these countries broken up in smaller pieces so they can steal out of them easily, and you'll have more ethnic divide. So now you had a civil war with the regular Sudan, now you got Sudan and South Sudan. Now you got a civil war in South Sudan and a civil war in regular Sudan to break it up some more. That's what they want to do in the Congo. Break it up. So they can control it easier. So Museveni's there, just like Kagame's there. Kagame's all up in the Congo. Museveni's all up in other shit. That's why they're left in power for 40 and 50 years. They're the Europeans' puppets. Go ahead, Joe.
So let me start with this video here, talking about literally how Africa, all this civilization was destroyed. Of course, we're talking about, I think this is the part of Sudan, literally.
People. You drown their land and
Must be
bury their
must be talking about Nubia. Nubia got destroyed when you guys decided you're gonna be Islam. Islam. That Islam shit destroyed your stupid ass. Because you accepted some outside goopy religion against your own traditions, and then you intermixed with these people, these Turks. They're not even Arabs. Those are Turks, white Turks who reclassified themselves into an African culture. But you Africans hate your culture. Everything you told you is evil and all. But you're the oldest cultures on the planet. But you're the evil one. But so what Sudan was, they intermixed with these wicked ass Turks and then called themselves Arabs, and so they hate all the other African people. So all your civilizations were destroyed, and that's why South Sudan had to have a war with Northern Sudan because of the race. Because most of the people in South Sudan still identified as Africans. The people in the other part of Sudan consider themselves now these Arabs. But the white fake Arab don't consider you that. He wants to dominate your dumb ass. But you and friends and Allah. Okay, dummy, whatever. They use that for political reasons. You morons are the ones that believe in that shit. So what you see is they started genocide the Africans. They identify themselves as Arabs, and now even these Sudanese have realized, oh, it's the Arabs that are stealing from us and keeping us destabilized. Yeah, moron. The ones you said were your brothers and sisters in Allah. They're the ones robbing and stealing and causing destabilization in your country to steal from it. Yeah, you finally figured that out, dummy? That's a fact. Go ahead, Joby.
history. Wadi Halfa, Sudan was the heart of ancient Nubia, one of the world's earliest and most influential civilizations, shaping trade, governance, and culture for at least 300,000 years. But many don't know Nubia because in the 1960s, the Aswan High Dam was built to create Lake Nasr to boost farming and generate power in Egypt. But when the waters rose, Wadi Halfa was swallowed whole. More than 200 ancient Nubian sites, temples, pyramids, royal tombs, and villages lost underwater, an area the size of Singapore, Bahrain, New York City, and Zanzibar combined. Archaeologists had just started uncovering prehistoric Sudan and Nubia's history, old rock carvings, ancient writing systems. As the dam flooded, their research was rushed and left unfinished. Sites like Tassidi and Nubian pyramids and temples, considered some of the oldest in the world. Tombs of biblical kings like Pai and Taharka, who ruled 25th dynasty Egypt all the way to Palestine, now underwater. UNESCO's emergency mission rescued
rescued what they could, but historians believe 90% of Nubia's history may now be erased. More than 100,000 Nubians have been displaced from their ancestral land, heritage, and culture, one of the most tragic events of the 20th century. So, when a people's history is erased like this, who gets to rewrite it?
The fake Muslims who now call themselves those people, call themselves Egyptians. Those fake people do. They get to steal your history and call themselves you. Allah! All that dumb shit, all that fake ass shit. They get to rewrite you and make up nonsense. They do. Except these morons in Egypt that they think they were ancient Kemet who built any pyramids out of your fucking mind. You weren't even there. And you hate African people.
Let me share this. This one has no volume, so kindly just keep it there as I finish this.
In partnership with Uganda are currently.
I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Nah, I can't hear it. The volume's low.
Download it. I can't download it.
They dive completely into chemical warfare, as well as.
But you got to translate what she's saying, or something.
I can't just. But she's basically talking about how South Sudan is working with Uganda. It has been bombing people. Of course, Uganda is denying all these allegations of being involved, but so many people have been displaced, that is in South Sudan. And of course, the war that they are causing now, like you're saying, the war between the South Sudan and the Sudan people, they're just all the same people, for crying out loud, man. But anyway, whatever.
But now, this is not the war against Sudan and South Sudan. This is the war against South Sudan. So now you got South Sudan, who just became a country 10 years ago, now having another civil war amongst themselves. So just like Sudan is having a civil war amongst itself. And I said that was going to happen. I said, hey, keep breaking your goofy Negroes up until you learn to come together.
Yeah. Exactly, until you learn to come together, because till when are you going to keep on having civil wars, especially the Sudanese people, for crying out loud? I've been born, I think, here in Sudan. Sudan has wars back. And this was I was having Sudanese bullying me in the school, and I'm like, what are you motherfuckers doing here?
Why in Kenya? Yeah, because this country's messed up. Exactly.
I was always questioning, like, what are you doing here? Always bullying people and beating people up. Like, why you always me? And then can't figure out these people are so displaced because you can't even stay with each other. Like, get your shit together. Get your shit together. That's all I can say. African people, get your shit together. The white people celebrate they celebrate. There's always someone benefiting, and it's the white man. You know, not even your goddamn presidents. The white man is the bigger profit, consumer of our war. Literally, you fight, they come take control of a certain region. They pay a few so-called Al-Shabaabs or the RSF or whatever. They fund them with the weapons, everything, and they fully take control of the regions they want. And it's all about resources, because in Sudan is all about oil. What else?
The resource, exactly, oil and whatever they got go to Sudan for the oil and gold. So it's about. We know that the white Arabs have been stealing the oil and the gold out of the Sudan. That's why they want to break it up, to make it easy under control. The white Arabs that they wanted to be are the ones fucking them up, and I love it. Love it. You goofy goddamn. I don't want to be African. I want to be something else. They're the ones been fucking your country up and stealing from you.
Well, Uganda denies it as we come closer to
These sprawling refugee settlements in northern Uganda are a grim reminder of South Sudan's cycle of violence. Thousands fled here during the brutal between 2013 and 2016. Many have never returned, fearing wouldn't last.
You go back to the village, and the next day, what you hear is the children are affected. So and so has been killed. Myself, I lost almost the entire family of my maternal family, and that was before 2013. And so the failures of the government were there before even the main war broke out. And so the conditions that we want to see fulfilled are that there is security, there is disarmament.
In March 2025, the SPLM in opposition led by first Vice President Riek Machar, announced its withdrawal from the 2018 peace deal. But beyond Juba, Uganda's military deployment has fueled fresh controversy. Opposition critics in Juba accuse Kampala of violating the UN arms embargo, arguing their presence only deepens existing tensions. The question now is whether Uganda's involvement is a necessary buffer against further instability or a dangerous provocation.
Uganda needs to take care of its own bullshit. Uganda needs to get rid of Museveni fast. That is what they need to do. Ugandans, Africans in general,
Joby,
just need to wake up. Just need to
Joby,
wake up.
Museveni's behind that, and Museveni's not for his European masters.
We know. That's what I'm telling Ugandans. You need to keep watch of your president, okay? He needs to keep his foot in his country and correct what he has not done for the last 80 years.
They're not gonna do nothing. They're scared to death. Please, they don't got any power in that country.
I don't know what to say then. I don't know, because I think my cry is loud enough for Africans to see, the wars being caused by the white people. Your presidents are not doing anything about it. If you're not looking up to Ibrahim Traore to help you see what you've not been seeing for the last maybe years, if you're not looking at it, literally that's the answer. If anyone is not looking at Ibrahim Traore giving us the answers of what we should have been having for the longest time, then you're just literally, how do I say?
Exactly. Why all the African leaders begging Ibrahim Traore step down, Ibrahim get out. All these leaders are asking Ibrahim to step down. All these corrupt bastards. Moron, his people put him there. He took power because he needed to, but his people want him there. Why you African leaders worry about what the fuck is going on in Bikini? You never cared before. Why you all caring about Bikini Faso now? Should have stepped down. Shut up and mind your own damn business.
They see what is happening. But as we wind up,
Exactly, just there.
Anna, shout out to Jiba Jabba. Thank you so much for tuning in and for the compliments. I see you also said if they have the internet, they can know the price per ounce. These people have smartphones, but trust me, you'll find them gambling with the same $2. If it is not, moonshine, it is gambling. Like, I'm not even capping about this. If it is not moonshine, it is gambling. Like, there's always something. People always wanna just make it very quick. So I also see Jiba says just like you are doing right now. Yeah, I do agree, but same people take I don't know if I'm gonna. Most of the times if I go there is always a burial. Personally, that's why I always go there. If there's if I go there, if maybe there's a family member who has died and I'm so required to be there, but I never even turn up for burial, so I'll see if I'm gonna go this time if anyone dies, maybe. But yeah. I also see Juba says, Joby, would you loan me?
If Joby goes to a barrel, Dad's gonna be there asking for some money. Starving. We're starving, Joby.
Because there's a lot of change also in me, so I'm not looking the same as back then. So they definitely see the change and all that, but I don't have $200, Jiba Jabba. You go eat ugali. Go eat some ugali and tea. It slaps, by the way, it's early in the morning. So I had to drive.
Why you laughing? Jibba Jabba. Her dad called again and said, "Hey, Joby, we're starving. Where's the damn money?"
I'm like, I'm hospitalized. Can you send me some money? Hell no, I don't have. Because it's crazy. Jib also says my parents will give me a look or voice. Their disapproval making me feel about my action. Also, for me with my mom, it was also the same. My mom would give you an eye. My mom was not the type of person to lay her hands, on someone that easily. You've really gotten into an app. You see her putting a hand on you, so it was not that easy of her. Unlike my dad. My dad was just very brutal. But I also see Sister Michelle Karibu Sana. She says some people go too far with the beating. I think that's what she said. And Jiba says I was made to pick a switch one, but mom never used it. Scare tactics, lol. And I also see Joa Mosquito Karibu Sana. He says Tinibu is so depressing to look at.
He is. He looks crazy. I agree with you, Jim Mosquito. He looks crazy as hell.
Jiba says Tinibu looks like the alien from the Star Wars. It is a trap. I think you said that last weekend too. Jiba's sister Michelle says why some of our people look suspect, lol. And I also see Jiba says keep eating that KFC and balloon stomach will creep on you.
Nah. You know I don't touch that KFC. I mean, there's a bag of popcorn right now. Calm down.
For me, I think he's saying about me. You don't eat KFC, you eat
Joe,
fries.
yeah. You know I don't touch that KFC. That shit nasty. I can't eat it.
For me, you guys will wait forever. I'm not gonna get that. My body is a proportion. How do I say? I don't know. I'm just blessed. I got blessed genes. But I also see Sister Michelle says my husband says they finally got the Janja weed out of the Khartoum. I think that's the other group of, if I'm not wrong. And I also see sound low, but we hear. Okay, I think I'm gonna share the video on WhatsApp for you guys to maybe listen to what that lady had to say. But we're coming to the end of today's conversation. Thank you so much to everyone who has been with us this early morning. It is exactly 55 minutes past the top of the hour, literally almost 3 p.m. right here in the 254. So, of course, join Iwaton. She's coming back next with Let's Pop See What's Popping on our conversation. But with that being said, have yourselves a beautiful day. I'll finish up with the jam I started with. This is Caleb Singer featuring Jeff Arco. The name of the jam is Nairobi Girl. Keith is on the phone. Would have requested for closing remarks, but have yourselves a beautiful day. See you guys on the Rhythm Scoop Show.
I'm back. I'm here.
What are your closing remarks?
I really don't have none. Just stay okay. See you about it this afternoon.
Okay, all right. See you guys tonight. We'll be finishing up with the 8 what? Like that they called? I don't know. The 8 something. I don't know. The last 3 videos we remain. I don't know the last 8 what they're called. The 8 what?
It's just the Africans and Africans who conquered Asia and but they didn't conquer. It was only us here. Africans in Asia talking about what was going to happen to African people. That's all.
Yeah, and I tell you guys, imagine me. I have memories of those images. I just don't know where. But yeah, I'm here to conquer you all and to save you all.
Well, and they were just trying to prove to you that reincarnation is what happened. There's no such thing as death. They wanted to show you that nothing dies. Everything dies. Everything is reborn. So if you got memories of that, Joe, if you got memories of it, then most likely that's your past life. So they were just letting you know there's no such thing as death.
I am a proof of no such thing as death because I have memories. God damn it. Much love.
Yeah, there you go.
Wajua tumeona wengi maweni mtu you run the game you never fake it, yeah. Sema hey, I'm a big man, I'm a big girl, kita nani saraka se yani